I have the body composition of my dreams. I'm happy. I have all this space in my brain that's like free because I'm not thinking about food or
24/7.
I'm having sex and do I look sexy? You know, you feel phenomenal. I can't believe the life I get to live within this body and my mind at 51. I mean, literally, I wake up and I'm shocked.
The better and more optimized you can feel, I'm more apt to like take a risk and put myself out there. I'm more apt to put myself online because I feel good. I know what this does and I want the rest of my life to be the best years of my life. I'm committed.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chris Harder Show, where today I've got a really cool treat for you. This is a follow-up episode from one that came out last week. I'm actually resharing an episode that my wife Lori Harder and our friend and new business partner in our peptide company, Stephanie Gambetta, did. Now, if you listened to the first one, you left really inspired and just with a can-do attitude, not just around peptides in your health, but more importantly about what you can do with your tomorrow and why your next chapter of life, no matter where you're at, is quite possibly the most exciting chapter of your life. Well, this episode gets into the real nitty-gritty as to why peptides, why has it changed our lives so much? Lori shares her stories. I've got my personal story where, most of you know I had a stroke a year and a half ago, and I just suffered when it came to my brain activity. I went into a state of depression and I had trouble with recall. I had trouble finishing sentences. I had trouble even keeping up when somebody was talking to me. And I was really scared that I lost my ability to be sharp in business and sharp in life. And it wasn't until Stephanie shared a special trio of peptides with me saying, this will give you your brain back. And it didn't just give me my brain back. My brain functions better, smarter, faster than prior to the stroke. And I want everybody in the world to know about this in case you're suffering with something, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. I also used them to stay a full month ahead of schedule when I had my surgery last year on my bicep and my shoulder. I am obsessed. Nothing has changed my life more for the better than peptides. And that's why we decided to acquire a small part of this company. So in this episode, you're going to learn what is Lori's protocol, what is Stephanie's protocol. You hear a little bit about what I'm using. They're going to let you know where you can poke around if you're interested. This is important. My friend Dan Martell said to me, he said, Chris, peptides are AI for the body. And if you're not involved in them or if you're not taking them, you're going to fall behind, period. Let that sink in. AI for the body. So I thought it was important that I reshare this episode with you guys. I hope you enjoy it. And at the end, Lori will let you know where we can have some conversations about it in case you're interested. Good luck.
Today, I'm really excited because the last episode, we had left them with a cliffhanger of, hey, these are all the things that we are doing to completely dial in, how we feel in our brain, how we feel in our body, how we look, like how the fact that you're 51 and I haven't even seen a 20-year-old look better than you, the fact that I'm 45 and I have never I look better than when I was competing. But the thing is, Stephanie, when I was competing, I was anxious. I felt depressed. I was so deprived. I was not going on date nights with my husband for 3 months in a row. I wasn't having a cocktail for 3 months in a row.
No sex drive.
Zero sex drive. I was literally eating chicken and broccoli with a tablespoon of coconut oil on it. Like, ooh, yummy. Here's my treat. Like, it was bad. I was not in a good place whenever I would be competing. And I'm like, how? I look in the mirror and I literally do not understand how I look this good.
Your abs are like popping and your waist. The best thing is we were at dinner the other night and Chris joins us like at the end and Lori goes up to use the bathroom and he comes back and he's like, oh my God, you are just getting tighter and small. I mean, it was so cute. He was like, that's my hot wife, like walking over. It was really cute.
I know, it was the best. Like, it just literally feels like the best. But I will say I have never felt better. So that is the crazy part to me. I have never felt better.
Well, also, when you think about that time in your life, like you weren't nourishing your body.
Mm-hmm.
You were just like eating to live, right?
Right.
Eating to get the lowest body weight, like, or the lowest fat percentage, like
Yeah.
eating to have enough muscle to actually go on competition, but being
Mhm.
lean enough so the muscle shows. And like, imagine how much brain space that also took.
Yeah.
And then having probably headaches or dehydrated. I mean, all the things which I want to ask you, because I've been through this in a very different way. I've never competed. But there was a time when I was on this journey, and I'm a couple of years ahead of you on it, is like I didn't trust the process because you're like,
Mhm.
is this too good to be true? Is
Yes.
this all of a sudden like the wool's going to be pulled out from under me and it's like, oh, your GLP is stalled, or oops, I'm sorry, whatever you're on isn't working anymore. And when you wake up one day and like, this is not the life that you get to live forever. Does it kind of feel maybe sometimes that way?
In the beginning, that's how I felt. And then I think that I started to understand, and this is what you say all the time in your peptide education, which you guys, I know I kind of left you there, but we were going to talk about everything that we are doing and using our peptide stacks today, which I'm very excited about, which changed for different seasons and different desires that you have. But for me, what I've really learned is that it is a tool. It's just like working out.
Yeah.
Like when people's workouts stall, I know that it's because they probably stopped trying and lifting heavy weights and they got into a rut and they're doing the same thing that they've been doing for 3 years. And so, you know, with the GLP that I'm on, especially now that I've learned so much more from you because you have just taught, like you are such a great educator on it. And I think that's the thing that's going to be huge for you guys listening, is that if there's any fear or reservation, or you've heard stories from your friends, like getting educated is one of the most important things that you can do, so that number one, you can have a great experience and you can understand that it's not just magic and it's not, the other shoe is not going to drop, because there's so many different things that you can do to tweak it, to make sure that you're getting as healthy as possible, to make sure that you're on a really good food plan for yourself, to make sure you're getting enough water and protein. I would say I take so much better care of myself now, because I know that what I put into this, I'm going to get out tenfold from the tool. And I think that's where everybody screws up on this, is they're like, oh, it's a magic fix. Now I can go and do whatever I want. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm still going on date nights and I'm having cocktails and eating, you know, what I want. But when I say what I want, I still choose pretty darn healthy foods.
And you're grinding steaks and like things that your body's craving, right? Because you understand that you're building your body up. I think what I like to explain too is like, there's a method to the quote madness.
Yep.
And the method to the madness is not increasing your GLP because it's stalling. And I think we know where I've gotten in my coaching and my coaching program is like, I have a lot of tough love conversations. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Yeah. That is a really big piece here, especially when women are coming and they're in midlife and they're frustrated, nothing's working. And I'm really asking them like, are you going to listen to me? And I'm saying this because I don't want you to waste your money. Yep. And I don't need to handhold you along the way. You just need to listen to me and be part of our community, and you'll feel you're not alone. But it takes a little bit of tweaks. It takes understanding. It's whatever's working for Lori might not work for me. I mean, I just did a call the other day. It was really interesting. And she came as a referral, and she'd been on every single type of GLP, from like semaglutide, Ozempic to tirzepatide. And I don't know if I think she tried Retta. Anyway, she was on a lot. Like a big dose that was like max dose.
Which makes you feel like crap.
It didn't work. And I'm like, so we kind of walked through and I'm like, okay, there's a chance you're the outlier, because every once in a while somebody is an outlier, but I want to look underneath the hood. So I'm going to give you a couple peptides right now to work on inflammation, to work on your brain health, your gut, some other things that are going on, but we're going to get your blood work done and do a deep dive, because I guarantee there's something else going on that is impacting why your GLP is not working or not working as well. But we're going to get to the bottom of it with our doctors and me, versus like just throwing you on things. And I think that's what people like. They just want to know immediately what something is and go and get it on it. And it's going to be the same as Mary's. Why isn't it working it for me?
Okay. So let's start there actually. First, I want you to just re-explain what a peptide is in case they missed the last one. But then what are the best steps at like, oh, I'm curious, how do I even know what I should be getting on? Like, is it a coaching call, et cetera? So let's start with,
that's a good question.
What is a peptide? And then what is the path most people should start with?
Okay. A peptide, honestly, people just need to say it's a simple amino acid chain.
Okay.
And we have They say we're born, they think we don't know. There's over 200,000 peptides already in our body. So depending on the length of the amino acid chain, that's what determines which peptide it is and what receptor it's going to work with in the body. So when you inject it sub-Q, and that means a little tiny insulin needle, it goes in, it's the most bioavailable. So it doesn't have to go, it goes past your blood barrier, doesn't have to go into your stomach, gastric juices. It goes right to the bloodstream and your body puts it to work.
Okay. So instead of like a supplement, because there's some supplements, we're skipping the line and we're like going straight into what we want.
So imagine your body is saying, I need something. And then you inject something. It's like, oh my God, thank you. Here I go. Now I can function better. It's like putting gas in the gas tank. When it needs gas, it needs gas. It doesn't need something that's going to produce gas. It needs gas. And so it's going in there and saying like, I'm not going to supplement something. I'm actually going to get your body to do what it's supposed to already do by putting more of whichever peptide you're choosing to use into your system. Because as we get older, they deplete.
So is that what they call signaling? Like it's 100%. Signaling your body?
It's just, I mean, I hate to say that people say it's like a text message, but it's telling your body to get to work.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So that's peptides. Now, you know, the woman who you were just talking about as an example, she used a bunch of different kinds. If you're coming in a way to this conversation of you've already been on some, or if you're super curious as to what this is, we are going to talk about some of the, you know, main questions, some of the main concerns, some of the main things that we see out there in the industry right now that we're like, oh my God, I wish they could just come to you and they could get really clear on this. So I think let's start with when a person is curious about peptides or when a person has already been on them and they don't work.
Okay. Those are good questions. I think the hardest part right now, what I struggle the most with is that there's so much misinformation on the internet. I mean, and everyone's excited. Like I love that people are excited because I was excited. That's why I started my company. However, if you don't know what you're talking about, you really shouldn't go out there and try to explain everything. So someone's going to listen to you and go buy peptides from you when you don't see the whole picture. So I think it's really important for someone to go, okay, yes, I might get excited and I jump the gun and I'm going to go buy what Lori's on because it works for Lori. And like, I just want to get started. Yeah. That's okay if you're excited. But I would say slow down for 1 minute, hire a coach, hire a doctor if you wanted this right. Make sure somebody knows. Like for instance, at the Loop Way that we have, not just me as a coach. I have lots of coaches and I have doctors and RNs. And then I have coaches that specialize in GLPs. And I have coaches that deal with more sensitive people. And so there usually is a fit for you or for anybody. Or I do group calls or get on and listen to like a 101 and try to figure out. But I always really say, get on a call. You only really need one to get you off to the races. And I would say for me as a coach, like, someone's intake form and the questions that I ask them are almost more important than their blood work. What I love about their blood work is the blood work doesn't lie. And so if someone comes in and they don't have blood work, which is a lot of people, I say really quickly at the end of our call, hey, the most exciting thing is I'm going to give you a blood panel to go do. And two things, you can either do it now and come back and we can chat with our doctor just so you can see things, or in about 10 weeks before we do our next call for your next stack is let's look at it because you have a baseline. You want a baseline because what you're going to find, especially in these GLPs, is that you might have expected more weight loss, but when you look at your blood panel and you look at your cholesterol numbers going down, your lipid panel going down, your insulin resistance going down, it's shocking. The amount of texts I get, outside people saying they feel good, I think they're shocked. Their doctors are shocked when they look at the blood work. Like those things, the data doesn't lie. And I find that a lot of people are very resistant to get blood work. So you don't have to get on blood work to do, I'd say 95% of peptides. There's a couple peptides that I would make you do blood work on. However, your lifestyle, your intake form, your goals, I can put together a pretty good peptide plan, just getting an idea of who you are, Lori, as a person. And then we deep dive and we dial it in.
That's kind of what I did. I mean, I get blood work quarterly, but with you, I had been on other peptides. So I was with a different company, which by the way, we'll just back up because if you didn't listen to the first episode, Stephanie is the founder of Loop, which is a peptide education company and has peptides as well. So with you, I wanted to just kind of figure out how I could get more dialed in because I knew that I was like doing good. I looked great. I felt great, but I also knew there were other levels because now I was starting to like get into it. I'm like, wait a minute.
By the way, I want you to put a before and after because when I met you now, I mean, you looked great. Like you would never, but like now, I feel so good. And also I wasn't on ones for skin. I wasn't on ones for brain. I wasn't on one for inflammation. Like I wasn't on those, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but
after I met you, I was like, oh my God, this is really exciting because for where I am in my business, I am at max stress right now. And so I was really interested in like feeling better mentally, like feeling less foggy, just feeling better in my body. Like how much better can I feel in my body? Because when you're a founder and when you're out in the world or when you're on stage or when you're front facing, the better and more optimized you can feel. This is why like you hear about this all the time. Joe Rogan, Huberman, all of these people, why the most successful people are getting into things like this is because it expands your capacity. It expands your capacity to hold stress. It expands your capacity to hold, all of the things that come up around growing a business. And
your
when
cortisol,
I feel
your sleep, like
even when I feel good, I'm more apt to like take a risk and put myself out there. I'm more apt to put myself online because I feel good. By the way, the amount of women that tell me like they don't want to go and do yapping challenges or put themselves out online is because they don't feel like they look good. And so it's such a block for people that I'm not saying like, oh, you have to look a certain way, but when you feel your best, you're going to do it. So,
and you're going to attract all of that.
Totally.
I think what's interesting too, and I say this is like people come in for the sexy, like you come into peptides because you're like, oh, everyone looks so good. I don't want to be left behind. Like I need to be on, is it a GLP or I need to be on, what's this glow peptide? Or I need to, so they come in with like, almost like I'm behind. Yeah. I want this. And then you stay for the brain and you stay for the gut and you stay for the mitochondria because you realize it all works together. Yep. And a GLP and slapping that on is not the magic answer. And I feel like that is what we're going to see more and more in the coming years as more people are on them for longer. Why are they not working? Well, we got to work with other parts of your body that aren't as exciting, but once they're all dialed in, your GLP works so much better because your body is not fighting other areas, right? So it's not working. Oh my God, I got so much inflammation here that it can't work on its insulin resistance because it's fighting so hard to actually heal some other part of your body. So when you get your body more into homeostasis, and like I said, it's not exciting, it's not sexy, and our philosophy is like low and slow. Look at anything in life. It's like, do you go to the gym and like you get home the next day and go, oh my God, I'm ripped? No, it's like any good thing takes planting a seed and slowly working towards it. That's so what peptides are. And I think this quick fix, and I feel like this overhype on the internet and with social media is like really doing people a disservice because the expectations, I get it all the time. Like, I've been on it for 3 weeks and I don't feel anything. And I was like, you've been on it for 3 weeks. Like, slow your roll.
There is a huge adoption period if you want it to work really well.
And sometimes you feel worse before you feel better. You're really tired.
Yeah, totally. So, when we can talk about this in depth at another time, but just as an example, I had switched over onto a different GLP. Yeah. And you were like, it's going to take time. Like, give it like 8 weeks. Well, for me, I really noticed around like 12 weeks. Yeah. And it was like, I almost gave up. I remember. I texted you. I was like, I want to go back. I want to go back to a different one. Like, I want to go back to the one that was like semi-working for me. Well, like, give it time.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Tirzepatide works a lot faster. Yeah. But you'd already been on it. And so I was like, hey, your body already knows what this is. So like going backwards right now, I said, what I'm excited about for you is that like your body hasn't worked with this glucagon receptor yet. Mm-hmm. And you have to be patient. But when it works, because Lori, which I think is a really important piece, you and I do everything else. And when I say we do everything else, I want people to understand that like neither one of us lives in the gym. Yeah. Now, am I consistent? But my lifestyle right now is like, I have 45 minutes to an hour if I'm lucky. Same. Not every single day I don't have that time. And I'm not the girly right now who can do that and 10,000 steps. Like, right. I laugh at the 10,000 step thing. And I'm like, and I even tell my clients, I'm like, when I talk about steps right now, I say, after your meal, in your outfit, go walk the neighborhood. Yeah. I mean, that I'm much more realistic too of saying like, I think people think it takes so much more literally heavy lifting to kind of get your body going in the results. It's really just being consistent with a few things and just really being patient and to say Rome wasn't built in a day and to do it the right way. Your friend that has lost 10 pounds in a month, if they came to me, I'd say, I don't want you to tell anyone that because you shouldn't be excited about that. Like you have put yourself in a metabolically very challenging place. And if we don't fix this now and you keep losing weight at this speed, yes, your hair is going to fall out. Mm-hmm. You are so depleted in nutrient. I can't even imagine. You're probably dehydrated. And I'm going to have to reverse diet you to bring your calories up or else you will be metabolically very challenged and you will have to spend a ton of money on your GLP. And I get that a lot, which I think I would like to talk about is like, the feeling that peptides are super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I mean, there are certain stacks that are expensive, but oftentimes those are something you might do twice a year. You know, just like you take your car into the shop and you're like, oh my God, my bill was $800, but you do it once or twice, right? It's not like you're doing it every month. But it's important for people to know is BPC 157 is one of my favorite peptides, especially to pair with a GLP, because it really works with inflammation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you guys who don't know about this, and the names are hilarious, it is, you can get it for $120, $150 a month. It will work on your gut. It works on your inflammation. It works on your brain. You actually feel so much better. Any aches and pains go away.
Yep.
If you're starting at the gym, a new routine, oftentimes someone will get so sore they can't go back the next day.
Yep.
Because it increases blood flow, you don't get as sore. I used it a ton when I was recovering from my ACL because I literally had to start lifting when I had 0.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's like, you know, you've lifted before, you can't sit on the toilet and you're like, or you work out and you're like, oh my God, now I can't work out for 5 days. It is such a great tool because it's helping you as you're doing the lifestyle things to get your body to be less inflamed. And I feel like that's what I also enjoy is that, like, I tell people sometimes, like, no, you're going to lose the water weight in the beginning, and that's from the BPC. That's not even from the GLP.
Yeah, you don't realize how much you're carrying around just in
inflammation,
water weight and inflammation. So I've loved watching that. Like, people get on that first and they lose weight and feel better, you know, pretty quickly, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Today, we're just going to dive into kind of some of the main ones and what, you know, we have loved.
Yeah.
And what I know a lot of people, you know, honestly, my dad is on it now because he has really bad RA.
Yep.
So we started him on BPC and TB 500, and he already in 1 week has relief.
Yeah.
Like, he has relief that he hasn't had in years. I'm so excited. I couldn't be more excited.
I feel it's interesting. The older generation is they're almost, I think, more open to it than some, I think, of our generation.
Well, he's in so much pain.
And
he said, Lori, give me anything.
And then they go, oh my God, the pain's gone away.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd had this the last 20 or 30 years versus imagine being on pain pills, all the things. So like, BPC is also one I love because if someone doesn't say, does a peptide work? That one works very quickly. And if they don't notice it, I'll tell you one thing. When they have to cycle off after 3 months and take 1 month break, they go, oh my God, I feel different. I feel the aches and I feel more bloated. And then it becomes their favorite peptide because they realize it. Like, they might not notice in the beginning, but when they're off of it, they feel a big difference.
Okay. So that's a really popular one that people start on.
Yeah. It's easy.
It's easy. It's
no side effects except you really feel good.
Totally. So Chris was on the pill form for a really long time, which he said he did notice. But when he switched over to the peptide, you know, taking it sub-Q in your stomach, injectable, which at first people are nervous about. Let me just tell you, my mom was so nervous to give her first injection to herself. She was like, I'm freaking out. She panics really easy. She has anxiety. She called me the other day. She goes, Lori, after my first one, she goes, I don't know what I was freaking out over. She's like, it's so easy now. I'm like, right? So, okay. So BPC 157, you can do it orally, but obviously we love to go straight for what works really, really well. So tell me just a little bit more about that. That's a great one for people to start on they just are dealing with more inflammation.
I often say, like, for women, especially middle age and men,
yep,
the starter pack that I like to put them on is a GLP and BPC.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, someone is dying for NAD, and I'll be like, okay, I'll throw it in. And I think why my business has done so well is I'm honest, I'm transparent, and I'm not going to put you on a shitload of peptides.
Right.
There's plenty of time.
That's what I love about you. You're like, Lori, just wait.
And
you literally told me to wait.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes I'm like, you're not going to go on one. That was bullshit. Like, I mean, there's ones that work really well for certain reasons, but there's also ones I'm like, in time we'll get there. But like, I like to get someone on really BPC and a GLP for a lot of women they want the inflammation, they want the weight, they're dealing with premenopause, perimenopause, even men who are just like, a lot of men also have injuries, right? So it's like, let's work with the injury, let's work with the inflammation, and let's just work with this GLP because it's insulin resistant. So I think a lot of men have shame around the GLP. I'm like, oh, we all should be on it in midlife because your insulin resistance becomes so in check that all of a sudden everything else starts working and feeling better. And then with the men especially, and some women is like, then you throw in a secretagogue. And what that is a growth hormone releasing peptide. And so they will see them starting to get shredded in the gym. Unfortunately, sometimes things are easier than women. It hits harder, it hits faster, but I will get them on something that will really help them see results in the gym. Women, I tend to be, we're a little more sensitive creatures. We got hormones, all these other things that I'm chatting with my clients about, making sure they're hormonally optimized. I'm worried about their gut. I keep them on pretty simple. I do a GLP, I do BPC, and sometimes I might do KPV or something for the gut, but usually it's 2, maximum 3 peptides, and I just hold you back. And then After the first 3 months, we have another call, and then we're like, okay, and then usually they've gotten educated too. I send them my podcast. I tell them, educate yourself as well. And then it becomes really fun.
Okay. So BBC.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about GLPs, because that's the one that most people didn't even know what peptides were, which, by the way, you guys, they've been around forever. And I tried NAD. Now it's almost 5 years ago, but 4 years ago, NAD and a GLP 4 to 5 years ago. And so they've been around for a very long time.
Yes.
Way longer than that. When did they start?
Well, people don't know insulin is a peptide.
Right.
And that was formed in the 20s.
20s.
Yeah. 1921, it was FDA approved. I mean, the 20s, like, tesamorelin, which is a great peptide for men who are lifting weights and whatnot, like was for AIDS patients in the 80s. It was, they basically took the peptide amino acid chain and they manipulated it. So I think this is a really important piece. If you don't mind, get a little bit scientific on here, is that like, when something is naturally formed in your body, you cannot patent it. So there's no money to be made on it. So what you're saying with these GLPs, Big Pharma has manipulated it just a little bit, so there's more GLP and it lasts longer in your stomach. We have GLP already in our bodies. Yeah. The difference is you eat your lunch, and GLP is secreted naturally in your stomach to tell you that you're full. It lasts 1 minute. And so then obviously you get, that's how. So anyway, when you do inject it, we manipulate it a little bit so it lasts longer in your stomach, right? So you have more of it, it lasts longer. There's a manipulation so they can patent it, they can make it FDA approved, and they can sell it for money. So there's certain peptides that you'll read about that have been around for a long time because they were FDA approved and they were creating them to solve some sort of medical ailment. And there's a lot of ones that now fall in the research category, and we'll deep dive in another podcast about that whole difference. But because they're naturally occurring in our body, they can't be patented, and there's not a lot of money made up, but they're fantastic peptides that we need.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So, all right. So BBC is one that people start on all the time.
Yeah.
And GLPs
want me to walk through
yes, okay. Let's do that.
So it's funny. I tend to talk about them a little bit like the iPhone. Like everyone's so excited to get the new iPhone. But let's start with the big clunky phone. Remember in it was the 80s, the huge
Zach Morris phone.
Yeah, the Zach Morris phone. I look at Ozempic, which is semaglutide, as that phone.
Okay.
Right? Did it work? Absolutely. Is it convenient? No. Who wants this huge phone? It can't fit in your purse. I remember my grandfather had one that sat in his car, and then it's humongous.
Yeah.
It did its job, but it was clunky. It wasn't great. I'm sure the service dropped all the time. Semaglutide, Ozempic, GLP-1, that is it. It was used for diabetes patients, and it started to become more prevalent in obesity and saying, how do we really bring obesity down? The side effects were horrendous. And I feel like that's what we saw a lot in Hollywood. That's what we got a bad rap on, yeah. I think you saw it in Hollywood, the Kardashians, that's what everyone was on Ozempic. And you get very sick because it is such a high dose of GLP in your system that really you throw up. You can't eat certain foods.
You don't eat. Yeah.
You don't eat. You get constipated. There's just so many side effects to it that most people
dizzy, tired
would get off of it because they're like, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yep.
So Big Pharma's smart. And in the meantime, they were like, we got to work on something else. Like, I don't think this is going to be what's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So then tirzepatide comes out. Amazing. I mean, it is one of my most favorite peptides.
Yep.
And it is Mounjaro, tirzepatide. You hear all the different names. We call it Lupulin. And it is two things. So it's a dual agonist. So you have GLP and you have a GIP. And so now you're having half the amount, Lori. So let's say you're injecting, 1.5 milligrams a week. So let's just say we're going to break that down, and you're in five units, guys, and insulin is this much, right? Now, if it's pure GLP, all of that is GLP. Now, when you have a dual agonist, imagine it's half.
Okay.
So it's 2.5 GLP, 2.5 GIP, right? So it's not as much of the one that's hitting your receptor of like, I'm slowing down this food. I'm going to make you feel sick. Anything that's fatty is not going to feel good.
Yeah.
So you have enter the GIP, which really starts working their insulin resistance with the food noise, with your brain. But people don't realize a lot of reasons why it also works is it's half the amount of the GLP. So people aren't getting that piece of it. Like it's also just taking that dose of pure GLP and cutting it in half.
Yeah.
And having something in it. So working with your system, but working with your brain, working with your insulin resistance. And it's just a softer landing. And now we've also learned more about it, right? And that's where you'll see everyone online fight about it. Most doctors are giving you a low dose, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Which is still a lot.
Yes. Which, 2.5 milligrams is a lot to start off with. You don't need to start off with it. But they're doing one big injection and they inject it in. A lot of people will go, and I'm sure maybe in the beginning, and this is you, but you'd go to a place and it's already in the syringe. Here, Lori, here's your syringe. Okay.
Yeah.
You are trusting this doctor that they say what is in the syringe is in the syringe. You're assuming it's a purity that they are telling you it's a purity. You don't know. You don't know when was it put in the syringe. When was that actual bottle reconstituted? There's so much to the peptides of making sure you are getting purity, what they say it is. And I think that's really important to understand why some work better than others. And so when you have pure tirzepatide, GLP and GIP, you do not need a lot. And it's best when you do microdose it. What I mean by that is it's a lower than a regular dose and you're splitting it up, right? So you're doing it 2 to 3 times a week, not once. When you do it once, what happens is it spikes in your system. So the first couple of days, you're like, oh God,
so tired.
I'm tired. I don't want to eat. Like, I also think it's really sad when someone doesn't want to be hungry. Like
I know you need that food.
You need
for sure.
You need all the sensories. And so for 3 days, you're kind of a zombie, right? But you're losing weight. So you're like, I'm feeling great. Well, as the week goes on, right, it's depleted because it has a half-life. So after the end of the week, it's pretty much out of your system. Now you're hungry again. You're ravenous. What do? Oh, I'm going to shoot it back in my body. So imagine your poor body. It's like, it's on this roller coaster. Where with the microdose is that you are taking just a little bit, but your week is going like this. So you're never in this high and low. And some people say it doesn't work. And the thing with peptides, I'm telling you right now, is that it's not a one size fits all. So I play with it with people. You know, sometimes if someone doesn't want to inject 3 times a week, I'm like, well, start with 2. But I rarely will start with 1 because I just think shooting it up in your system, especially in the beginning, is no bueno. You're not going to feel it.
Oh my God. For me, the low a few times a week has changed my life.
Yeah.
And I will say this has been a question from some of my friends because there's been a lot of reels about like mood. And they're like, well, are you like super impacted with your mood? And I will say back when I was injecting, like doing the full 1 injection a week where it was like a little higher, I noticed my mood. I was like, oh, I feel just a little bit like flat. I can't quite access like this joy that I used to get.
Very common.
Yes. And I was like, oh, I hate that. Yeah. Like I need to figure that out. And so now I feel like I'm back to normal.
Right. And the good thing is, especially as a coach, like we talk about it and I say, hey, you could expect this. Let me explain what's going on. So it's twofold, right? So there's less dopamine food is also like exciting, right? We celebrate food. You have your sugar really raises. So you have a dopamine hit because of the food. You know, imagine when you bite something, especially when there's a lot of sugar in it, you're like, oh my God, you almost have this like high from it.
Totally.
So you're not getting that, right? You're not getting the high because you're not eating the sugar and you're not eating like that. So you're not having this reward system. That's one of the things. And it does diminish some of your dopamine response in the beginning. So we talk about it. And I think when you know that it could happen, then I'm like, go outside, go for a walk. Like, your body will get used to it. And eventually, if for some reason it's something you struggle with, there's other peptides that we can work with that's going to help work on your dopamine and help kind of get you out of that. But usually it's a dosing issue that you're getting that. And it's not the peptide. So it's either a dosing issue or just the first month getting used to it. And it usually done the right way, it passes.
I am going to keep saying this over and over through every podcast we talk about on this. You can see already in this conversation how many tweaks have been made and how every person is different and how if you're going to do this and you want the best out of it, you really need to have some form of a coach or access to a community that has coaches and education.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go get on something, you're not going to feel great, or you're going to feel like it was a waste of money, or you're going to get on something that isn't even for you that you didn't even need because your friend said something about it, or you're going to have a bad experience with it.
Oh,
so
this stuff I see, Lori. The fun thing with peptides, Hunter Williams and I always talk about, he's like another
was a great podcast.
But yeah, great guy in the space. Is just like the amount of money that's wasted. Like you waste, you're better off paying for one. Like I tell people, I'm not your therapist. I don't want to be your therapist. If I'm doing my job right, I get you going and you're off to the races and you're going to check in with me in 10 weeks. You're going to join my community. So you have all this other support, but you do not need somebody to hold your hand. So it's worth that initial, like kind of get on the right track. Oh, I had a girl the other day. It was so funny. And she's so excited. You know, she's so excited to meet with me and all of it. She has been on so many peptides. And she was on this for 3 weeks and that didn't work. And I was on this and they were from all over. Like not one source. It was this source and this source and this source. And they were in her freezer. And I was super mellow and calm. And I'm often like, hey, listen, like I have no problem. You should go through with some of the peptides you have. Let's not just get new peptides. But I'm also going to talk to you about the difference in what I sell and oftentimes what you're going to get from somebody else. So let's go through yours. But if we're 6 weeks in and it's still not working, it's your peptide. It's not my protocol. It's not what we're working on. And so that there is a little bit of that. Like there are people when you do have a GLP that has B12 in it, glycine in it, very common, guys. I know a lot of you are on these GLPs. They're not putting B12 in there because they're like, oh, you need extra B12. You do not need B12 to be mixed into your GLP. Yeah. They're doing it because they're able to compound it that way. You want it pure. You do not want a GLP that is mixed with other things. You want pure tirzepatide, lupulin. You do not want to have other things in it. You will see a big difference when you get off of that and you get on something that's just simple, pure. Take your B12 shot at a different time. You don't need to mix it because if you're mixing it, you do not know how much tirzepatide you have versus how much B12. So you don't really know your dose.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And again, you guys, with the company that Stephanie owns and that I'm a part of, it truly, like, all the coaching is incredible. You have so much access.
It's fun. There's
so many lives that you can also get on. It's super fun. You're a part of a community where you're all just dialing each other in, which is really, really fun.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's talking about it in a way that has no shame around it, which is amazing. It's like, what's working for you? What isn't?
The shame is what I get. I think women really come to me if they thank me because I'm like, there's no shame. And by the way, everyone should be on this and it should not be intimidating. I think people are really intimidated. I just spoke to a big group the other day and of women. It was nice. And so at the end we do questions and stuff and you could just see they're like, thank you for just like making it simple. I think people are so overwhelmed because they think it's a heavy lift and they hear all these stacks and what stack should I be on? Or I'm behind. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, but find someone that's going to hold your hand and see you. I think that's really important that you are met where you're at. And so that's because I talk a lot about lifestyle in my calls, like a lot about lifestyle. And I sometimes people don't like what I'm going to tell them, but like, I do say like, look in the mirror. Do you like what you see? So why are you doing the same thing over and over again? Can you trust me? I'm asking you to trust me because I'm asking them to make some big changes in their life of how they work out and what they eat and what they do. And it's terrifying because these are tools. I mean, I was one of them, like, especially the cardio bunnies. Like,
oh yeah, I did not want to let go of all my cardio.
Because you're terrified. And even though I thought about this the other day when I was in the gym, why was I that person who was like doing this, going to the gym and you see them, someone who's at the gym almost every day for an hour to an hour and a half, and they look exactly the same. And they look like they could not be in the gym. Like what's going on here? Why would we go in and do the same thing over and over again? Because you're afraid of looking worse. So I'm saying you're okay going and doing the same thing and not feeling good in your body and not looking great, but you just are afraid to look worse. Versus what if I told you to trust me and we're going to do something totally different and it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's where the growth is.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you're going to go, I have the body composition of my dreams. I'm happy. I have all this space in my brain that's like free because I'm not thinking about food or
24/7.
I'm having sex and do I look sexy? You feel phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do, Lori. Like I feel like sometimes I'm an infomercial. I can't believe the life I get to live within this body and my mind at 51. I mean, literally I wake up and I'm shocked. I'm still shocked.
Yeah. It's mind blowing. Actually, it's literally mind blowing. Okay. So we did BBC. We chatted GLPs.
A little bit. Let me go more. I got on a tangent about the GLPs. So we're talking about the first big iPhone, Ozempic, clunky, semaglutide. I don't even sell it. I mean, it's cheap, you guys. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's even the lowest dose is not worth it. Tirzepatide, lupulin, Mounjaro, amazing. You can have wonders with it. It works a lot faster. So if someone comes to me and they want to lose more than 10 pounds, and they're usually pretty eager to do it, we start there because you can get, it kicks in quick.
Yeah, it does.
It's fast. It's fast. And so that's great about it. However, you'll end up stalling out and sometimes you can lose too much weight. So it's a tricky one. I like it. I probably work more with that than I do retatrutide, even though retatrutide is my heart.
Yep.
It is our lupulin and burn. It is the future of GLPs, but it's not for everybody. And that's what I think is really important when you also work with a coach. Just because it's the newest does not mean it's the best. And I also say to people, like, what's fun about it, I look at peptides as a lifestyle, like AI. They're not going anywhere. I will be on them the rest of my life because they work so well for me and I feel so well. There's always going to be a time that you can go on retatrutide. There's no rush. it's a tool. And it's a tool like when your tirzepatide or loop lean isn't working and we sit and have a call and we figured it out and we do tweaks and it's still not working. I'm like, all right, let's do this. It's time to move on. And we move on. And there's ways you can do it. And there's ways that you actually pair retatrutide with tirzepatide. So now you're taking both at the same time with a coach done the right way. What can that do to get your GLPs working again? There is so many tips and tricks and tools that you should not at home mess with by yourself at all.
There's a lot of people who are really scared around like, if I go on this, I am going to lose a bunch of weight, but the second I go off, I'll gain it. And then I ruin my metabolism. I'll gain more.
I get that a lot.
Can you speak to that?
I get a question too. The same thing is like, do you have to be on this the rest of my life? And the answer is like, no, but you're on your thyroid medicine the rest of your whole life. You're on your cholesterol. You're on your statin. That should not be scary. The scary thing is if you do your GLP, when I say do, if you use it wrong or you've been advised the wrong way, that will happen. And the reason is that you are putting yourself in a very metabolically challenged place. So you're afraid to be hungry. You're not eating enough. You're eating 800 calories, 600 calories. Like it's not sustainable. Your hair is falling out. Like that is not the GLP problem. That's a user error. And you will bounce back because you guys, they're not magic bullets. They're not like, think about when you diet, right? And like you're eating nothing. The second you go on a bender and you eat a lot, your body's like, thank God you're giving me food and nourishment. I'm going to hold on to this because when are you going to make me run from a bear again and starve me?
Yeah.
The GLP doesn't change that. That is still there. So like if you don't have the discipline to say, I mean, even I was coming here and I wasn't hungry and I was like, I need to eat something right now because I'm about to do this podcast. I go right into a coaching call and then I can have lunch. But like, I can't not eat until 2.
Yeah, I make myself eat.
You have to make
sure I do.
Yes.
Because you forget.
You do forget. You forget to drink water. There's a responsibility to being on these GLPs.
There is. It's huge, actually.
And that is a gut check. I look at someone and say, are you willing to? It's almost like I want you to sign a contract. Like, are you willing to nourish your body? Are you willing to change how you eat? I know a lot of people who are on GLPs and eat like shit. I watch them and they're, oh, it's fun. I can eat gummy bears and cookies and I'm not going to gain weight. You need to understand what you're doing to your body. Like you are putting so much strain on your insulin resistance by putting all the sugar into your body and making it work so hard instead of thinking with coaching of like, what if I gave you a reset and said, what if we're going to only put foods into your body that fill you up? Right? That like, ask yourself, what is this doing for me? I do this with my clients a lot. I say, ask yourself, where's the protein? Remember that like commercial long time, where's the beef?
Yeah.
Kind of. I say, it's a simple question. Where's the protein in this? I do this with myself. I want a snack, let's say. I'm being a little lazy. And I'm like, okay, yes, do I have meatballs in my refrigerator? Do I have chicken? Do I have all the things? I just want a handful of pretzels. I stop myself and literally saying like, that is not going to do anything for me, especially when I have to make sure I'm eating enough protein on these peptides. I go into my refrigerator. I do have some food prep. Not crazy, guys. I'm not a crazy, but I have stuff that I can easily took 6 meatballs, threw them in the air fryer.
Yeah, totally.
In 6 minutes, I dipped them in bitchin sauce or I dip them in some of these dips. I had 30 grams of protein for 300 calories. I mean, that's a lot for me and the woman. And I could go and have as many pretzels as I wanted to if I still wanted it. But by that time, you're pretty full. You might have 4 pretzels. Yeah. So I'm not saying don't eat the pretzels. I'm just saying like, don't put cardboard into your body when like you already are dealing with a calorie restriction. So whatever you're putting in your body needs to actually be working for you. That was a tangent, but
I think one of the things I'm so excited about that this has done is I'm like, I know what this is capable of doing as a tool. So now I get really excited to like give my body way more, like I'm eating way more protein than I even used to be, which was a decent amount. And so now I literally am like, oh my gosh, how much protein can I get? And so I have a rule. I've always had this rule actually since day one of starting fitness things. It was like, I can have as much like lean-ish protein as I want. Like I'll have fillets. I'll still have ground beef, but I'll try to get it as lean as possible. But I can have as much as I want whenever I want throughout the day. So I have a lot of, if I grill the night before and I have a steak left, I'm like, great, I'm having 2 shakes no matter what every single day. I still do that. It's been, because I started network marketing years ago and I just fell in love with these shakes.
Easy.
It's so easy. I should probably switch it up because eating the same thing every day isn't the best thing ever, but I've had 2 shakes just about every day of my life. Then I have whatever, meat or protein is left over, or like you said, I'll dip it in something. And then I have a really great big dinner
Yeah.
of as much protein as I want.
And carbohydrates,
salad,
complex
carbs.
carbohydrates. Yeah.
Totally. I do a lot of baked potatoes because I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
I do a lot of salads, steaks, chicken, bag salads if I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
But that's typically my food. And I feel like that has been game changing, having such a tool mixed with really consciously committing. I'm committed.
You're very committed.
And that's why is I'm like, nope, I know what this does. And I want the rest of my life to be truly, not to rhyme, but the best years of my life, because I can't tell you how many women I know right now at this age. And they're like, oh, the best years are behind me.
Oh my God.
My body's all downhill. My metabolism shot. I'm gaining weight and it feels uncontrollable. And I'm like, it does not have to be that way, but you have to be committed to wanting this to be the best half of your life.
I get a lot of tears on my calls.
For
a lot of women who are just like, I'm beating my head against the wall. And they're on HRT, they're dealing with their thyroid, they're dealing with a lot of things. But I ask them the hard questions. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to say, okay, this isn't working? And are you willing to trust me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and like, what are the tools that we're going to put in place for you to be consistent? Like right now, our app is going to have reminders for your peptides. Like I tell right now, brush your teeth, take your peptide, brush your teeth, put a sticky note, peptide ? Like, I've made the mistakes. I've forgotten them some places when I travel, but for the most part, I'm really consistent. And like anything in life, if you're consistent on these and low and slow and just trust the process, you'll be especially at Loop. Like our protocols, yes, protocols are really important. And also what a protocol is.
Mm-hmm.
A protocol is the dosage that you take. So how often you take it, how much you take, what do you pair it with? That stuff really matters. And you'll see there's a lot of different ways to take certain peptides, but I'll walk through with you the different options of why I do it this way. And if you don't like it to do it one way, what are the other options are, pros and cons. So you can kind of see what everything is out there, but like we are very successful because of our protocols.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we only have time to hit up one more, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're talking about probably the 3 most popular for women.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next one? GHK?
Ooh.
I know it's so hard.
I know.
I feel like the skin one is super hot. Maybe
I
we'll
think the
hit that.
GHKCU is one of my favorite peptides.
Yep.
2 things. I love it. It's a healing peptide too. And I think people don't realize, like, not only is it helping your hair, skin, nails, collagen, but it's actually really helping your body repair. So it helps you sleep better. It helps you repair any injury that you have. It's just overall a really good healing peptide. It's fun. It's blue. It's spicy. You can take a lot more of it than you think. And I think that's what people aren't realizing, that like you can take a lot more. You can take it 7 days a week.
When you say spicy, it can sting.
It can sting. So it's a copper peptide, guys. Very important. If you're on the peptide, you need to take zinc. A lot of people don't know that because the copper interacts and it will deplete your zinc. So take a zinc supplement, but the copper makes it sting. And because it stings for me, I often tell people like it really stings and they come back like it didn't hurt at all. I'm like, oh God, good for you. But it stings.
Stings for me one out of every 4. I'm like, oh
yeah. It's weird.
It's weird. Now I'm so used to it
too. I'm like in the little welt, but like these are a couple tips. Do not do it in your stomach ever.
Mm-hmm.
You do it in your glute, ice it a little bit before, inject it, and usually ice a little after. You're fine. We also have a peptide called Glow, which has BPC and TB500 in it. Those 2 neutralize the copper, so it doesn't sting as much. I'm a purist. I like it pure. And I also tell people, don't be fooled that it's 3 peptides in one. It is not. It's not enough BPC and TB500 to really have that work for what they should be working for in your system. It's just there to neutralize the copper. It's better than not taking it. So I tell people, you can't take it. Take Glow all day long. It's still really good. But I also tell people, it takes 2 rounds to really start to see something. So like when I first did it for 3 months, I'm like, this is kind of bullshit. This was years ago. I'm like, I don't see anything. I look fine. But I read more. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of studies on GHKCU, 25, 30 years of studies, which is awesome. I tried it again. It was round 2. So you do it 3 months on, 1 month off. The next round, you're like, You'll get people talking about it. You'll see small hair. What was interesting for me as being 51 is that my skin was getting really thin from doing lasers. And so I was having feedback from my estheticians like, so if you can't do another laser, like your skin has gotten really thin. Okay, now they try to put a cannula in to like do sculpture the other day. And they were like, what is happening? Like literally they couldn't get it in.
Wow.
So the collagen production is wild. It really works. It's great for men. It's an overall. It's fun. It's sexy. Like, who doesn't want to have their hair, skin, and nails like look better?
Yeah. When I met you, is one of the things that I was like, no, I need to learn more because your skin is absolutely crazy for 51. For 25, your skin is crazy.
It works. Yeah.
It was just like, your skin is crazy, period. And you're 51.
And I don't
need to
like
know.
literally. I might do like when it comes to lasers, like maybe 2 a year max. Like, I'm not a girl who's like in doing tons of stuff.
So I was just reading about, so this is I think I'm on the last couple weeks of my 3rd month of GHK injecting it. So I do every single day. I do the purist because you're like, I'm a purist. I'm like, I'm doing whatever the hell you're doing. And then it has been a little spicy. I do get a little bit of, like tiny welting or whatever, but it has not been bad knowing, just stick with the 3 months. I'm about to go off for a month soon and then go back on my 2nd round, which is where you really get to see results, which I'm really excited about because I will tell you, and there is an age that is actually proven. It's around 44 to 45 where your collagen essentially, I don't want to scare people, but it falls off a cliff.
No, it's like
it dramatically changes. And when women say, I've been talking to a bunch of women around this age and they're like, no, it changed overnight. Like all of a sudden
the marionette lines, like
I lost volume. I could see all the veins in my skin. Like just way more, like fine lines, things like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something about this because if I'm being honest, like, of course I'm a huge eater for my skin, hence Glossy. Like I'm like, give me all of the nutrients, but I've never been a big topical girly. I like sunscreen. I'm a pretty basic bitch when it comes to that stuff because my brain is too overloaded with everything else. So with that, I haven't been super into like topical skincare. So I was like, okay, GHK is perfect for me because number one, that feels so easy. But number two, now you've come out with, you also have, we have a skincare line, which is so exciting. We have a skincare line that I've been using now for a couple weeks that I'm obsessed with. And I was just reading because I went down a Claude rabbit hole asking Claude about, what injecting GHK along with topically applying it to your skin does. And it literally blew my mind what came back on Claude about like how insanely good this is for your skin and what it can do. It's kind of like this new secret that a lot of people don't know about yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you get in the right algorithm, it's all you're going to see. But a lot of people don't know. So tell me about that.
Well, one thing about me and Lori, I think you know this, but you learn more. It's like, I don't do anything like light. Like if I do something, I'm like, it's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on, I dug deep. I found some of the best chemists. I went to conferences that were only on aesthetics with the best doctors knowing how much GHKCU needs to be in a product to make it the most bioavailable. Mm-hmm. I think the skincare industry is wonderful, but it's a racket. And
totally.
I've got teenage daughters and I'm like, for the amount that you spend at Sephora on things that you do not need for your
perfect skin.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's just so much marketing. And I'm seeing a lot of marketing too about peptides. Peptides are in this or NAD. You guys ask yourself, what is that peptide? And then put it in Claude and what does it really do? The word peptide is so overused in the skincare industry. You see GHKCU on something and 2% run towards it. So I'm so excited. We're in beta. I don't know if this comes out, we'll probably be fully in it, but there might be some spots you never know. Anyone can sign up. But we've got a great team. We're hiring on somebody who, it's a secret, but it's going to take this and blow it up. I mean, think about everything from body serums to body lotions with GHKCU to eye patches to lip to
I love the sunscreen.
And I guess basically I've always been really into skincare. A little opposite to you. It's always been something where I kind of look at my countertop and I'm like, oh my God, okay. I don't know what's working out. Peptides in the beginning when people were on 1,000 of what is really working for my skin. I don't know. I slap whatever on it.
Yeah.
I personally think the days of the 12-step is going away. I think with GHKCU, you can have a 3-step process and one of them including sunscreen and be more than fine and actually physically see the results. So you're not going to waste your money. So I do think you said doing it, injecting it so it's coming on a cellular level from the inside out, as well as topically. You got fine lines, wrinkles, acne scars, plastic surgery scars, mommy scars, all of it. Like you can put it on topically and your skin not only firms up, but the scars start to fade.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the craziest things is now when I inject any of these, I'm like, oh my God, it takes a second to get the needle in. Like not a second, but I notice the difference.
Thicker.
It's thicker. I'm like, this is amazing.
Your skin isn't going to hang off. I think also like this whole world of like deep plane facelifts that are so in style and I'm super pro them. It doesn't matter if you have shitty skin. you can pull it, you still have crappy skin.
It's so
like
true.
Paying attention to your skin from a cellular level and then a topical level is really important because you can't be like, I'm just going to facelift one day.
Yeah.
Guys, like I've seen a lot of bad facelifts. Like when you have bad skin, you got bad skin.
Yeah.
But peptides can also reverse a lot too.
Yeah. Okay. This was so great. You guys, I wish we could, this is the whole reason that we have this series. I'm obsessed is because every week we're going to talk about things we're obsessed with. And right now we truly are obsessed with peptides. So it's not just going to be peptides, but of course we're going to work this in because we are now partners in this company and Stephanie is going to be a regular part of this series. So you'll be seeing her on the podcast all the time, just like my He Said, She Said with Chris, which I'm really excited about because you bring just such a, we're so alike, but you're also into totally different things as well. And you just bring such a different perspective, and the education that you have around peptides is absolutely mind blowing. So I'm really excited about this.
What I'm really hoping to do, Lori, through this is not only we're gonna have so much fun and bantering and the things that you and I are obsessed with are great. And peptides for me, I live it, I breathe it. It's like everything I do. It's all my coaching calls. It's all my community. So I do know a lot, but it's just so confusing. And so I want to just make it, I joke behind the scenes in my company I'm like, we're peptides for the people. Like we do not need to be so medical and tech. You don't really need to know how this works to this. And I can bring the doctors on to do it, but you really just need to understand the basics, what works for you, tweaks to make it work the best, and like move on. So we're going to keep it simple.
We're going to keep it super simple. And you guys, all you have to do if you're interested in learning any more of this, if you want to book a coaching call with the coaches at Loop, if you want to book a coaching call with Stephanie, if you just want to get started, you can literally just text the word Loop to 310-496-8363. That's 310-496-8363. Or I'm also going to do the direct link that you can go and check everything out. So that's perfect.
And I constantly open up more calls. Like it might say, oh, you can see me in a month. I tend to say, oh, I've got a Saturday open. I love what I do, guys. So like, don't be like, book something. And then you can always email and say if anything opens up sooner. I constantly am opening things up.
Yeah, I love that. And the other coaches, like,
the
guys,
coaches
if you want to start, they're incredible.
Yes.
They're absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So they can.
It's not just me by any means.
For sure. And they've all been trained by Stephanie. They've all been, they've all been vetted. So they're really incredible.
Oh, I have a certification that they go through. So they know a lot. I wouldn't have them representing me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm so excited. You guys tune in to the next episode and definitely go check those links out below. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.